Hello everyone and welcome back to a new match review. It's another weekend, which means there is another game for Leeds in the Premier League. This time we went to Turf Moor to face Burnley. Now, as always, before I start the match review, you know what I'm going to say, so you might as well just do it by now. Click the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment with what you thought on the video and what you thought on the game as well. It's so easy to do, it's free, so please just do it. Do me a favour, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll get on with the video. So as anyone that watches football will know, Burnley are famous for their 4-4-2 formation. And what Marcelo Bielsa likes to do when he's faced with two strikers up top, he will play three centre-backs to combat that. So there is always one centre-back free. As we were expecting, we went with the 3-3-3-1 formation that Bielsa is also famous for. There's no Matthijs Klich or Junior Firpo because they were ruled out with COVID. They tested positive, I think it was today or yesterday, so they didn't come with the squad. I think Rodrigo probably would have played in the centre of midfield anyway, even if Klich was fit. But I definitely think we missed Klich in midfield today overall. Firpo was so unlucky to miss out today because he started against Crewe, he started against Everton. He was just going to start to get a run in the team, get his match fitness up to speed, get more familiar with the way that Leeds play. But that's just been taken from him with COVID, so that's really unfortunate for him. I was looking forward to him and Harrison linking up together. They're starting to get to know each other as well. That was a really exciting partnership down the left-hand side for Leeds. Llorente was back at centre defence. He played 45 minutes in the Cup against Crewe midweek. Got 65 minutes today. We weren't 100% defensively solid today, but Burnley are ridiculously physical when they play. They're lumping balls into the box left, right and centre. So it was always going to be difficult for the defence to deal with. And I do think we coped for the first 50 minutes, I'd say. We were doing all right. And Llorente did seem to make a difference in the centre of defence being back today. Speaking of Burnley's physicality in the way that they play, something we've noticed with Bamford in the last few games is that he has become more physical himself. I didn't know if it was just against Yerry Mina last week that he was going to be a more physical player, but it seems to be more of a permanent thing, as we saw a couple of minutes in against Tarkowski today. Bielsa did tell him over the summer to watch videos of Erling Haaland play, so it could have come from that, I guess, because Haaland is a big guy. But it's a nice thing to see Bamford still developing his game and willing to learn. But into the actual match now, the first few minutes, I'd say we had the better of the ball. We were passing it around nice. There were no clear-cut chances, but we were trying to break them down, wear them down as the game went on. It was a very physical game all over, challenges flying in from both sides, some fair, some not so fair. The tackle from Barnes on Dallas in our box was, from watching it first time, it looked bad, but the replays made it look awful. It really did. If that was given as a red, I don't think many people would have been surprised. It was pure reckless, pure frustration from him. His leading foot was ridiculously high. He was only given a yellow, but if it was reviewed and given as a red, I don't think many people would have complained about it. And although that tackle was pure frustration from Barnes, I think a lot of the Burnley players were very frustrated in the first half. They were constantly doing hard challenges and tackles, but as soon as one of our players did a tackle on them, fair or not so fair, they would go down easy and moan about that. They were just trying to get into the referee's head, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work. But then towards the middle of the first half, we started to get sloppy. I think we were trying to force things too much. We were giving the ball away too often, and it started to give them a little bit of a sniff into the game. Yet again, the last minute of the first half, I'm not sure who it was, but it was a very late challenge on Bamford. Stud straight onto his ankle. It should have been a red. Again, the ref played advantage. There wasn't an advantage and he didn't bring it back. He did not pull it back. It was right on Bamford's ankle. Another one that I wouldn't have been surprised if it was a red card. On another day, it would have been. I've seen better challenges than that get a red card. So I don't see how VAR could review that and be like, oh yeah, that's fine, we'll let that go on. The ball had already been played from Bamford, so there was no challenge on the ball at all. It was late, studs onto the ankle. Should be a red card. It should have been a red card. In my opinion, the replays made it look worse. So the people in the VAR room watching the replays back of that, surely they saw how bad of a challenge it was, and they should have said to the referee, yeah, I'd go to your little box and have a review of that one, because it could have been a red card. On another day, both of those challenges, the Barnes one and this one, would have been given as red cards, potentially. It's the pure inconsistency that I was on about in the last video with the refereeing decisions. If you're going to play advantage, you need to pull it back when there wasn't an advantage. And if you're going to dish out red cards for lighter challenges, dish out red cards for challenges that should be red cards. It's as simple as that. And the pundits as well, praising Burnley at half-time for the way that they play. Like, stupid challenges that on another day could break an ankle. It's not something that should be praised. If it's your style of play to bully other teams and potentially cause injuries, it's not right. And then guess what? The second half starts and Barnes straight away with another foul. But he'd already been booked, so he wasn't going to get booked again, was he? Even if those individual challenges in the first half alone didn't warrant a red, the challenges that came in the second half should have warranted a second yellow. I put in my notes that the longer the game went on without us scoring, the more likely Burnley were to nick a scrappy, undeserved goal in classic Burnley style. And there it was. The ball came in from a corner, we couldn't clear it. I'm not sure how we couldn't clear it. It was like ping pong in our box. People trying to get rid of it, the ball coming back in. It just wasn't working for us. And a scrappy goal. A shot came in, deflection from Chris Wood. Meslier gets a touch on it, but he was wrong-footed and it went in. We paid the price there for not capitalising when we were on top in the first half and not getting a goal ourselves. We buckled under a little bit of pressure from a corner, and of course it was Chris Wood that scored, wasn't it? It was either going to be him or Charlie Taylor that got the goal. It's always going to happen when we play players that used to play for us. And we saw Rodrigo get subbed off halfway into the second half. I think the experiment of him playing just behind the striker is over now. It has to be. He is a striker. It really hasn't worked for him whenever he's played just behind the striker. He either needs to play as the starting striker or come off the bench and replace Bamford. And I don't think he's going to be playing as the starting striker anytime soon with the way that Bielsa loves Bamford. We always see tiny little glimpses of Rodrigo, of what he can do. There was a little moment in the first half where he had some great link-up play with Bamford and Harrison on the left, but it's never consistent with him there. I would like to see him given a bit of time up front, coming on in maybe like the 65th minute as a striker, but that would mean taking Bamford off, and Bamford is class at what he does as a striker, so I don't think that will happen. But Rodrigo was replaced by Tyler Roberts, who really needed to have a good game today, because there are so many people that just don't think he's good enough. And it seems like I have a personal vendetta against Tyler Roberts in the last few videos. I don't have anything against him, but I just think he always needs one or two too many touches with what he's trying to do. And as I've said before, his final ball isn't good enough, or his shots always go wide. He seems to be doing better in that position than Rodrigo does. I just don't think Tyler Roberts is an influence off the bench. He's not a game changer, which I think we need. We need a game changer on the bench. Today could have been the day to blood Somerville into the first team. I think he'd have caused Charlie Taylor problems, because he loves getting at players, he loves taking on players. I think we could have brought him on the right wing position and then moved Rafinha to a more central role, which I know Bielsa has said previously in other press conferences that Rafinha can play down the middle. I think that could have been a better option than bringing Tyler Roberts on. But who am I to question Bielsa, you know? That game was just ridiculously frustrating to watch, because we should be beating Burnley easily. Everything we tried today just wasn't working. We'd get the ball into the box and then there'd be an odd touch. There'd be a dodgy touch from one of our players. There'd be a flick on from one of their players. It just didn't happen for us. Everything we tried didn't work, and Burnley, fair play to Burnley, they made it difficult for us to play. Burnley's goal, as I said, was very scrappy. Our goal was very scrappy. Great skill from Rafinha down the right to send Charlie Taylor to bed. Shot blocked from him, falls to Shackleton, who has a shot, and Bamford just sticks a toe out and it goes in. Very similar to how they scored, but sometimes you need that little bit of luck, and I think we did deserve a little bit of luck today. I was hoping that goal would push us on to try and grab a winner, but there was no time left realistically. I think we scored in the 85th minute, 5 minutes left to try and get something. It was always going to be difficult, but it just didn't happen for us in the end to get a win. Before the game, I would have said we should have won the game. A draw was probably a fair result after the game. As dirty as Burnley were, they shut us out. In the second half, they didn't let us have the ball. If they did get a red card in the first half, the game would have changed and we probably would have gone on to win it. Bamford said in his post-match interview that it was a fight, and he was right, it was a fight, it was a battle. Physically, probably the toughest game we'll play, because that is what they are a physical team. At the end of the day, we came out with 1 point more than we had this morning. We didn't lose the game. And if we're trying to find positives from the game, Bamford's off the mark with a goal now. So hopefully after the international break, he'll be buzzing from his time with England, and he'll push on and get some more goals. Jamie Shackleton did well again when he came on. He seems very confident. I think he'll benefit from a run in the team, whether that's starting or whether that's coming off the bench and getting some consistent minutes every match. It seems like he will this season. Bielsa does like him. I think he's a good option to have to come off the bench with his pace and his agility. But as I mentioned a few seconds ago, it's the international break now. We can get Firpo and Click back from COVID, get Firpo properly embedded into the team at left back, hopefully tighten up in defence more and move up the table. And maybe even a last minute signing in there somewhere, who knows? Let's hope so. So hopefully we'll come back from international break firing and ready to go, because we've got an easy game, first game back. It's only Liverpool. We'll get a 6-0 win there. So thanks everyone for watching this match review. Like the video, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out. It's free. Please do it. Even if you're not going to watch the videos, just subscribe and like the video. And I will be back after the international break with another match review. So look out for that one. Thanks for watching and see you later.